We're talking now with Mississippi College head coach John Bland as we get set for this evening's game against North Greenville University. First of all, Coach, thanks for joining us. Let's take a look back at the big win last week over Albany State. 24-17 was the final score. That first half of football seemed like it was a real slog for both teams, and the Choctaws had trouble moving the chains, but you know, they all saw about making halftime adjustments. I think we really saw that come into play. The Choctaws' second half was outstanding.
You bet. I believe our coaches and our players made some good adjustments at half. Really just focusing in on what our plan was, and that didn't change anything. We just executed a lot better, kind of saw some things that were on the field. You know, when you practice, whether it's offense and defense, and you go against each other all week long, when you get out there and see the other team, the opponent, things are going a little bit faster. They're not quite like we had drawn up or on the field. Our scout team didn't simulate it exactly right, and that maybe the coaches didn't line them up exactly right. So we had to see that and draw it up for them, and our players just executed it well in the second half on both sides as we won the game in the second half 24-7, and just took over. So that was good to see, and I just love how our team faced that adversity, and people were questioning, and I was kind of worried, but our team just really came through and played really well on both sides of the ball.
You know, something we talked about last week was the depth that you have at running back. You have lots of options. A lot of guys got playing time against Alcorn, and several got playing time against Albany State, and it seems like that you've got two really good, solid styles of running back. You've guys like your quarterback Hawthorne and Jamori Mark, who can run the option and take it and try to turn the corner. And then you've got Jalen Jones and you've got Stephen Wright, who can kind of run the ball between the tackles. It gives you a really good mix.
That's right. And Jordan Wright.
Jordan Wright, I'm sorry.
You bet. And they do a good job. They're very good runners. They're just getting better and better at blocking as well, because it's an unselfish offense for no doubt about it. Our running backs like Jamori and Drew Kroger, they've got to be able to run the ball, and those guys, Jordan and Jalen as well. Run the ball, which they're running backs. That's why they name them running backs. But they got to be able to block. They got to be able to catch. They got to be unselfish. And because some defenses they'll take something away, and we've got to be able to take what they give you. And that's what our quarterbacks have to do. They have to do that. And Deontay Smith-Moore has also done a good job. He came in the other night and helped us complete a drive. And Dietrich played majority of the game though. So these guys are practicing hard, and I'd love to be able to play them all, and sometimes you just can't. We didn't have but 50 plays on offense, and that due to a lot of not being very successful in the first half. If we go back and watch the film, we probably could have been a little more successful and got more plays, which creates more opportunities for people to play. So we're hoping to get those longer drives and get more people in the game to play, not just to keep the morale up, but to keep people fresh.
Well, you mentioned blocking. I know Drew Kroger had a great block on one of Jamori Mark's touchdown run that really sprung him loose. And it seemed like also in the second half that the ball carriers were doing a better job of following those blocks.
No doubt about it. And we got on the perimeter several times because we were blocking the right guy instead of leaving those guys, and we got strung out, and we see that. There's a lot that goes into teaching this and learning it. So as we executed better in the second half, like you said, we blocked well on the perimeter, and that has been over my career, and when we're running this option, the better blockers we had on the perimeter, that's outside the box, the better we have been, and we really did that well. And Drew Kroger is probably our best at it. We got some others that are really good, but he's a senior, and he's proven to be really good on the perimeter. Knocked some people down, stayed high on them, got good leverage, and created some space for Jamari, and that's why he was the Renaissance Bank MC Athlete of the Week, one of those. That was awesome to see, and a lot of that has to do with the blocking up front, though.
Both of the Roadberry brothers had big games. Cole had a big kickoff return that set up a drive there in the second half.
No doubt.
And Turner did a good job defending passes. Couple he knocked away at the very end. Really, in the second half were big plays for the Choctaws.
You bet. That fourth down, he knocked that ball down. They tried to get a little short pass and get an easy first, and Turner said, no, sir, and he got right there, and it was great timing, too. And about Cole, on the return game, that was 2 returns. One to start the second half off. We get out there and we pump one in. Now we're down 10-7. It's a ball game. And then when we went up, I know 14, then 17, then they get down and scored and tied the game with about 5 minutes to go in the game or so. Cole had another big return, and were able to complete that drive to win the ball game. So that was really good to see. And of course, special teams are so important. That was a lot of good blocking too. But Cole is just exceptional. He's great speed, but great vision as well, and protected the football, got us those necessary yards on that return game.
On the defensive side of the ball, Choctaws played 4 down linemen most of the second half, so some adjustments there. And you look at who made the most tackles in the game, and it was your linemen and your linebackers, which is what you want. A lot of times we've had a lot of people in our secondary making a lot of tackles, so that says one thing, but it was different this week.
That's exactly right. Now, when someone's running the option and they get on the perimeter a lot, your secondary is going to make some tackles. And if they break runs, the secondary is going to make some tackles. We like our D-line and our linebackers to be the leading tacklers. That means we're getting it done up front, and we're starting to do that better and better. We're deeper than we've ever been, like I said, in the D-line and in all positions, but in the D-line especially. When it's hard to recruit D-linemen at this level and at any level, but especially at this level. So we've got a lot of guys who can play, a lot of people who can not only just hold their own, but they can win at their position and win the battles in the trenches. And we're seeing that, and that helped us an awful lot. Being able to adjust from a 3-man front to a 4-man front at times, it'll confuse the offense, and they have to make adjustments now instead of just coming up and seeing the same thing every time. So Coach Gilbert did a great job, and our defense adjusted well.
One of those linemen that you're talking about is Fred Walls. Had a really good game for you. Talk just a little bit about his play.
Well, Fred is an exceptional athlete. He's been playing defensive end, but also came as a linebacker, and he's got that kind of speed. And a lot of teams, you'll see, I was watching 30 on 30 the other day, some of the greatest teams in college football, and they recruit linebackers to play D-line. They recruit safeties to play linebacker. They're looking for speed. And, Walls is a great speed guy, and he's also got great hands and as far as making moves to get to the quarterback. So his biggest asset is his pass rush. But you know what? He's strong enough and he's agile enough to play really good against the run, too. So he's one of our best defensive linemen, and I think he's proven that, and he's a great leader as well.
And one of the things you've got this year that we maybe haven't had in years past is quality of depth. On defense. We saw it this past Saturday night. That should help this team going forward, especially as we get later on in the season. You
bet. Knock on wood, we haven't had many injuries, and that's good. But we want to always keep the guys fresh, whether they're injured or not. Now we can keep people more fresh. And when you do that, you're going to get better play. You're going to get quality, a better product as overall on defense and offense, and you'll probably prevent a lot of injuries. Some of those injuries are preventable, but maybe we didn't have they were fatigued, they end up getting hurt. So now we get some more guys in the game. When they have multiple reps or a lot of reps, then you get somebody in for them, they're going to stay fresher, and they're going to stay healthier.
Well, last season the Choctaws started 2-0. We were scheduled to go to North Greenville. The hurricane came up and affected the Carolinas, and we weren't able to make that road trip. So that game was canceled. Then you had to turn around and play maybe the 2 best teams in the conference in West Florida and Valdosta. This year you get North Greenville at home before you go and play those teams. So this is kind of a nice pivotal moment here for the Choctaws early on.
It is, and every team we play in this league is going to be good. This North Greenville team is really good. They've been a playoff team as well. They've just joined the conference not too long ago as well, but they're a quality team, and they can be in the playoffs just as easy as any of these guys can. So they're really good. They're fast. They're well coached. And so it's going to be just like those teams we're talking about. We're not going to have a break all season long, just like the SEC, It's of Division II. That's what it is. So we really got to be tough mentally, and we've got to play hard. We've got to fight through some adversity, which we're going to see. We're not going to win every play. And this depends on how our kids respond, our coaches respond, and hopefully we'll respond well and come up with a win on Saturday.
North Greenville had a close loss to Western Carolina their last time out. It looks like the numbers say they've got a pretty stout defense. So what concerns you most about this team?
Well, they're well coached, and I think we're going to have to be ready to go the long, hard way, and that means that they're going to be hard to get big plays on, especially in the running game. Now, we can do that. We'll have to get to some people. We'll have to use our athletic ability to make blocks. We can't make critical errors. But also when we have chances to make the big play in the passing game, let's say. We had some opportunities the other night, and Cole was open a few times, and we didn't have the throw. We didn't have the protection. We've got to make sure we protect Dietrich and Deontay, and we need to make sure and throw those balls on target when we're behind them and take advantage of those when we have an opportunity.
You anticipate maybe playing both quarterbacks a little bit more than you did last week?
Well, it just depends on how much how physical the game is and how our quarterbacks are handling the adversity and the plays. We're going to try to get them all in, but we'll just to see how it goes.
Well, Coach, we appreciate your time. Wish you good luck in the game.
Thank you.